I wanted to make sure that everything from the blades of grass to the trees were as deadly, and the bugs and the flora and fauna were all as deadly as the creatures that would inhabit it.
It's a pleasure meeting you, Dan Trachtenberg, and I have to say, it's a good year for Predator fans. There is a lot coming, and you are involved in everything. Now, looking at Predator Badlands, we get a lot more about the background lore of the Yautja. What was it for you that you said, I have to tell a story looking at this species which we know as the Predator?
Well, I think the thing that was so original, even in the '87 movie, is that it came out around the time that we were getting a lot of slasher monster icons, and the Predator was not just a force of destruction, a force of evil, supernatural entity like Freddy or Jason or Michael Myers. Immediately when you saw the movie, what started to unravel was, oh, this thing has a culture and a code, and an intelligence. And so it really spoke to coming from someplace and having a history and a background that with sci-fi roots that, you know, just blossoms in the imagination. So I wanted to be careful not to just totally overstep the mystique that makes them feel so cool, and to show just a little bit of a wider glimpse into their culture. I was very hesitant to set the whole movie on Yautja Prime, and wanted to make sure we weren't making a movie about the like Senate trade agreements between different Yautja tribes, and just have a little bit of a sense of where these things come from and the brutality in their familial dynamic, and then set the Predator on through a gauntlet and be the Dutch of this movie.
And obviously you give us a hint for the trophy he wants to present to his father, the leader of his clan. And now we see a planet where he is not maybe the predator he thought he will be. He is some sort of prey to some of the alphas on this planet.
Yeah.
How was it to design a whole planet where you're not the prime alpha hunter?
It was a real joy to just unleash and make that planet feel as deadly as possible. And I wanted to make sure that everything from the blades of grass to the trees were as deadly, and the bugs and the flora and fauna were all as deadly as the creatures that would inhabit it, and really thought hard to give it like ecological and evolutionary sense, so that all the designs weren't just like cool for cool's sake, that it all made, that had a bit of authenticity to it.
Looking at the dynamics, we not only get Dek as the prime predator of this movie, but also Thia, an android, which gets to build an unusual companionship, I would say. How was the idea behind that, and how difficult was it to find the right persons to portray them?
Well, I knew early on that if we had any humans in the movie, we'd be more drawn to them and would sort of break the promise of the premise of having the creature as the protagonist. So I then had the idea of like, oh, a movie about a monster and a robot. Wouldn't that be cool? And then I thought, I know a company that makes robots that happens to be inside the 20th and Disney family and has even touched this franchise before that I could play with them. And so that's where the idea of having this broken, severed in half Weyland-Yutani synthetic be strapped to his back like C-3PO is on Chewbacca came, and the idea of Elle Fanning, who's luminous and effervescent, and I knew would be quite funny. I was watching The Great at the time that we were casting the movie, and she's very funny on that show, but also incredibly intense. And there's actually she needs to play two roles in the movie as two different synths, and thought the idea of Elle Fanning strapped to the back of a Predator would just be this awesome alchemical mix that would make the movie awesome.
After Prey, you said you have had an idea for 3 more movies. Now you have, in some kind of way, 3 movies, but I guess Killer of Killers is not the one you specifically meant back then. How many stories do you have in mind you could tell, and how hard is it to decide which one you maybe can tell?
I mean, different ideas for these movies pop up all the time when we're shooting and when we're cutting the movie. And the real reason to make something for me is not just because it would be the next part of the story, but for it to be a great movie on its own, something that certainly is awesome for the Predator franchise, but really, moreover, just a fantastic movie experience that we haven't had before.
Maybe a quick, short one. For the die-hard fans of the original Predator, ever thought about calling Arnold for a cameo or something?
Well, there is a bit of a nod to Arnold in the animated film, Killer of Killers, and that's there because we had a meeting and got to talk all things Predator, and he gave us our blessing for his character to be re-included in the franchise.
Thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoy your stay.
Thank you. Very nice meeting you.